The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off. Welcome to I Had to Say It, the podcast where I not only say the things I need to say, but the things I think you need to hear. And your feelings, they're not a factor. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out by saying, as we do, by saying Josh, B-Word, Iceman, Jason, Miss Aaron, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, and El Morte. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. So in another peek behind the curtain, so I was very busy this weekend, didn't get around to recording an episode, and I am recording this at the last minute, so I'm going to apologize up front for if it seems rushed or anything like that, but it's getting late on a Monday night, but on the upside, that also gives me the opportunity to work in some more current events going on in here, so we're going to touch on a few things. There was a whole lot of stuff that happened over the last week, and a lot of it's ridiculous. This show is really, I never intended it to be a political thing, but it has definitely turned into a political ranting and raving kind of profile. And once again, I just want to extend an invitation. Anybody that wants to come on here and talk to me, I'm really looking to start adding a lot more guest episodes to the show. Anybody who's actually in the podcast community seems to be really shocked that I do this solo every week. It's definitely a different kind of creature, and I just want to talk to some people. So if you have any interest in coming on the show, other than a few people that I've already got planned and booked, hit me up. Let me know. We'll set something up. We'll talk. If you want to tell me that I'm a fucking idiot and you just rage listen to me every week, hey, challenge accepted. Come on, tell me I'm an idiot. Prove me wrong. But anyway, so we are going to get into this episode. There are some things I want to touch on that happened last week. There are some things that happened today that I'm going to want to talk about. But we're going to start out going over a few things that happened last week. There was a lot of shit going on in the political arena. We're coming up. Super Tuesday's right around the corner. And good old Nikki Haley's still in there trying to say that she's picking up momentum because she actually won D.C. today. Now, she really doesn't get it. She's very out of touch with the rest of the fucking country, other than the fact that she's running and slogging along here. She's like, well, see, the people most familiar with the situation say I'm the kind of new blood we need. And it's like, no, you dumb bitch. The swamp voted for you. The fact that you won more votes than the Cheeto doesn't speak to how great you are. It speaks to how you're part of the problem. It's not a ringing endorsement. And she's trying to act like this is some huge momentum and she's going to start winning actual states. She's really not. D.C. isn't a state, and it doesn't fucking count. I mean, it counts for electoral votes, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just saying it is the source of the fucking problem, and I don't know why she's crowing like she fucking pulled something off. All she proved is she is the establishment's candidate. She is not the outsider. She's not the contender. She's not the fucking underdog. She's the one that's backed by the people that are the fucking problem. Well, that and all the stupid 19-year-olds are like, I'm voting blue this year. I can't wait to vote for Biden. I'm 19. This is my first presidential election, and I can't wait because I hate Donald Trump. Well, yeah, you're an indoctrinated fucking idiot. And that is legitimate. That is like a verbatim quote that popped up in my Twitter feed today. Or I'm sorry, my X feed, because it was from I don't know why the algorithm is showing me this stuff, but it's a college kid that's from Chicago and very proud of the fact that she's blue no matter who, and she's a Chicago Democrat and really proud of herself. She's 19 years old, doesn't know shit about shit. She weighs about 300 fucking pounds, and I know it's wrong of me to be saying something like that is a factor on her status, but she qualifies as one of those land whales who's preaching fat acceptance. I did do a little digging in her profile because I had to be like, is this serious or is this a troll account? Oh no, it is a genuine serious case of an entitled Chicago teenager who thinks they know the answers for the world, and they're really proud of the fact that they're fucking stupid, and she's out there just telling the world, I don't know shit about shit, but I'm going to support the fucking grandpa man who's literally running this country into the fucking ground and trying to replace me with some fucking, 20-some-year-old man from fucking some third world country and probably some Venezuelan criminal that's here to, well, I'm just going to say probably not. She doesn't have to worry about getting knocked down and taken advantage of because she looks like fucking me in a wig. Oh, okay, that's not fair. I'm not nearly that fucking flabby and loose. At least, I mean, I'm a big dude and I'm heavy as fuck, but at least there's some muscle under there somewhere. This broad looks like she hasn't done any physical activity beyond walking outside of the door to go get a fucking bagel in her entire fucking life. You know, these fat positive motherfuckers. Yeah. And yeah, no, I mean, if you're out of shape and you're working on it and you're trying to get healthy, good for you. You're my tribe. You're my people. I'm here for you. I'm fat and out of shape and trying to get healthy too. If you're one of these people that just says, "Oh, well, I'm beautiful no matter what, and I'm good enough, and I should be accommodated, and I need to have a double wide fucking seat on the plane, and I shouldn't have to pay for the extra seat, and I should be accommodated and told that I'm good enough, and I shouldn't be lectured about my lifestyle choices because I know what's best for me, and I'm going to be a lazy piece of shit and be eating 5,000 calories of garbage food a day, and I'm going to have the activity of a fucking sloth." I don't have any sympathy for you. You're a horrible piece of shit. And if you're 19 and you're that fucking out of shape, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, yeah, I wasn't some stellar athlete at 19, but I could still see my fucking toes. And, you know, I'm not even trying to cast judgment on people who couldn't. I'm just saying, I realize that I am responsible for the way I am. I realize that this is not good for my health. This is not going to allow me to live a higher quality of life when I get older. I don't necessarily think that all these people who are like, "Oh, well, you know, no, fat shaming is wrong. You have to accept me how I am. You have to tell me I'm good enough the way I am." No, the fuck I don't, for starters. For second off, no, you're indoctrinated. You're stupid. You drank all the fucking Kool-Aid, and everything about your social media profile shows as much. And you're sitting there like you're proud of yourself. You shouldn't be. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself for being a land whale. You should be ashamed of yourself for being so stupid that you think the people that created this problem are somehow going to fix the fucking problem. The problem's deliberate, you indoctrinated fucking idiot. Yeah. So anyway, dumb motherfucker. Super Tuesday right around the corner. They're going to wait till Super Tuesday's over to, Sleepy's going to get all those votes. He's going to be the candidate, and then something's going to come up, and they're going to replace him with somebody else. So that's something we can think about. Ought to be fun. And Nikki Haley's delusional and saying that, yeah, Donald Trump should endorse me when I get the candidacy. You're not going to get it, you crazy bitch. Nobody wants you in the office. But anyway, so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at on the political front right now. DeSantis went through and basically banned DEI in colleges in Florida and fired everyone at the University of Florida. And Florida State University released their entire DEI staff, which is, that's a good thing. The pendulum's starting to swing back. Nature's starting to correct itself. Just hopefully it's not too little too late, because honestly, at this point, our country is kind of the laughingstock of the planet because of this bullshit. And speaking of being a global laughingstock, let's turn the page over to Ukraine, where they're getting really desperate since they still haven't gotten any more money from us. And now they're complaining that there were different fundraisers that pledged them something like $12 billion, and they haven't received the money yet, and that's not fair. And they're having to start to ration ammunition to help stave off the big, scary Russians. And the war hawks here in the States are just, "Oh, Russia bad, And then it comes out that, all those bioweapon labs were in Ukraine. And when we started talking about that, when the war started, it turns out those are all there. And there was like 12 or 14 CIA facilities. Let me pull it up. 12 secret CIA bases in the Ukraine sitting there to monitor the Russian threat and the Russian menace. So, yes, the United States government, the information is out and verified and accurate at this point. The United States government undermined a democratically elected government to put a puppet government in place, and then using the CIA to basically teach these people how to be espionage people for us, financed all this bullshit that was going on in Ukraine, and all the things that were stated as partial reasons as to why this corruption needed to be exposed turned out to be true. What a fucking shock. So that's on the Ukraine front. And, so I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go back to domestic affairs for a few minutes because there's other things going on that are really pissing me off. So over the course of the weekend, Trump and Biden both made a trip out to Texas to make their statements about the border crisis. And true to form, Joe is still trying so hard to pin every problem we're having on the Republicans and how they won't sign the border bill, the bipartisan border bill that was the toughest one that's been proposed in years. You know, that amnesty package that they tied onto another $90,000 in spending for foreign countries that really don't deserve any more American taxpayer dollars, despite what the war hawks in Washington want to say. But there was a few things that were different about the little appearances that went on. The primary one being, besides the fact that Biden still did not do anything to acknowledge that this problem is entirely of his fucking making, he used it to stump for more like, oh, the Republicans are stymieing our security. They don't actually care about our national security. They're doing it because they want to make it an issue for Trump to run on. No, you fucking idiot. You created a problem and you're not doing anything to address the problem. You're passing the blame and trying to get more money out of the American people. And newsflash, that shit's not going to fly because the American people are sick of your shit. You're not someone's esteemed and admired leader. You're a fucking doddering old fucking puppet. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, so the doddering old fucking puppet goes to the point on the Texas-Mexico border that has had literally zero encounters for like the last 30 days and has been one of the dead spots in terms of crossings the entire time. It's an area, it's like the easternmost point of the Texas-Mexico border where practically nobody's coming across. He was there, went to a secure area, no activity to speak of to try and address a crisis without actually addressing the crisis. And he was there and he had, people there, token border guard members, so we have the support of these fine people that are here to defend the country, and we're not giving them the resources and his doddering old foolish ways, he goes on. And there's a couple things about this that really stood out to me, and everybody that listens to this show on anything resembling a regular basis knows I'm not a huge fan of the fucking Cheeto-dusted Muppet fart Trump either. Now, out of the two potential leading candidates, because this is a broken system and we're in a country full of fucking morons who don't seem to understand, we are not supposed to be bound to a two-party system, and the fact that they just go along with it because, oh, well, if I don't vote for one guy, the other guy's worse. No, third candidates, alternate parties, they exist. If you start endorsing them and stop fucking going along to get along, that's how you move the needle, not by picking the lesser of two evils. Generations of picking the lessers of two evils is what got us into this fucking circumstance in the first place. But if we're looking at things from a lesser of two evils perspective, at least Trump went to Eagle Pass where things were actually fucking happening, where tens of thousands of illegals are crossing the border on a daily fucking basis before Abbott put his foot down and said no mas. I mean, now, granted, they're still just going to like Arizona and New Mexico and California, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm just talking right at this point about the candidates and their approaches towards the situation. Biden goes to the most inactive, dead area on the border and has a bunch of hand-picked people to come out and kiss his ass and act like he's doing something special. Trump goes to the literal epicenter of the fucking border crisis, the place where the feds and the Texas government are having their fucking standoff, the place where, like I said, literally hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens have crossed into the country at this point. And that's gonna bring me to something else here in a minute too. But he goes there, and then he gets the representative of the Border Patrol Union. This guy has been no friend of the Biden administration. He has directly called them out multiple times in very public manners, saying this is entirely their fault. They're not doing their fucking job. The Border Patrol is being treated like a bunch of fucking Walmart greeters where they're just letting people in, and he's not happy about it. And according to him, he was not invited to come to the sitting president's press conference. He wasn't invited to that. He was not told he should come. So that's very telling when this guy refuses to have any. I mean, granted, we all know Sleepy can't handle questions. Even when he gets the answers ahead of time and they're softball fucking questions, he still fucks up. And he still, you can tell every time he goes off script and says something that they have to go into damage control immediately when he does it. And that's to a tame fucking audience. So, yeah, of course they didn't invite somebody who's been a critic of his for him to actually answer and to try and take some sort of ownership or accountability, because that would be asking too fucking much, because that's realistically not how these fucking parasitic fucks think. And meanwhile, we have a bunch of wildfires raging in Texas, herds of cattle being run off from these fires shortly after the Attorney General of New York says that she's now suing one of the biggest beef production companies in the country. And it's really no wonder businesses are leaving New York left and right. This kind of bullshit. And she's doing it in the name of environmentalism, using basically at this point debunked science, trying to go after beef producers for being irresponsible, producers of beef, I guess. I mean, I don't understand how she thinks this is anything other than fucking virtue signaling and just towing the party line and showing what a good little fucking drone she is. She's utterly fucking worthless, too. And so we have this wildfire breakout in Texas, and Biden, again, saying one of those things where the conspiracy theorists jump on board of it. And honestly, the pictures kind of show he's right. Talking about how you'll see a whole neighborhood's burned to the ground except for one house that happens to not be on fire because it had the right kind of roof. And that was just fodder for all the conspiracy theorists who are talking about DEWs, directed energy weapons, for those of you who don't keep up with the lingo, that are purportedly in satellites that are being used on the American citizens now that cause the wildfires in Maui and now causing wildfires in Texas. And as much as I hate to dive into conspiracy theory territory, when you look at the pictures and there are blue buildings and blue cars and blue umbrellas that are completely untouched in the path of all these raging fires, it makes you wonder. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's something to it. And there's videos out there circulating on the internet that show how you can tune laser frequencies to only be reactive on certain colors, and it's not unknown science. I mean, it is true. Now, a satellite that has the capacity to put out that kind of energy output, that's a whole nother conversation, because it would have to be like nuclear fueled at this point, because unless they're sitting on some really amazing energy production technology to generate that kind of wattage for that kind of laser to work from space down to the planet and cause combustion. But I mean, would it surprise you to find out they had some sort of massive power production? Like maybe somebody finally cracked fusion instead of fission, and it basically generated, energy on par with the sun, but they don't want to share that because they can't market it properly or whatever. I don't know. And again, you're talking about going into conspiracy theory territory there, and that's really not my forte. I try to stick more to the concrete, just angry shit. But yeah, so there are potential issues with these wildfires, and the conspiracy guys have all jumped on board the DEI or DEW things being used against American citizens and causing problems. And it gets harder and harder to keep saying that's fucking stupid. What can you do about it? I mean, we'll find out the truth eventually, and at some point, everybody that's responsible is going to be up against the fucking wall. That's one of those things with these elitists, globalist, tyrannical motherfuckers always forget is things go in cycles. They don't like people to learn history. They don't want people to learn and grow from it. Because they're hoping this time they'll learn and grow from it and not make the same mistakes. But at some point, people are always going to hit a wall. They're always going to say enough's enough. And that's when shit gets raw. That's when shit gets bloody. That's when violent overthrowing is going to happen. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what technology you're sitting on for yourself. It doesn't matter how well you surround yourself with other people. The sheer numbers are going to get you. And unless you're willing to fucking eradicate all life on the planet in the name of your own fucking ego, trying to make sure you don't go down alone or whatever, which, who knows? Maybe these elitist motherfuckers are on that shit. Hard to say. And speaking of globalist, elitist, shoddy, in the shadows, just shady motherfuckers, Jacob Rothschild died. If the name sounds familiar, you've probably heard. Big banking family controls all kinds of money and power and influence, and even royalty has to kind of pander to them because it's just one of those big families that's supposedly one of the global elite manipulating masters of the planet. Yeah, one of them died. Pity. Boo fucking who. And speaking of wealthy elitist motherfuckers, the last thing we're going to touch on tonight is a case of There's a lawsuit that has been filed against Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs. Ultimately, and anybody that's roughly around my age, Gen X, we all knew Puffy was kind of a piece of shit from back in the 90s. I mean, he basically got catapulted to success because he was Biggie's boy and Biggie got murdered. Now there's all kinds of accusations coming out, all sorts of improprieties. He's in basically the Jeffrey Epstein of the fucking hip-hop game at this point. Apparently, he's got blackmail materials on all kinds of rap stars, including drugging people, getting compromising videos and pictures of them in positions with sex workers and doing all kinds of gay shit. And because in that particular community, being gay is very frowned upon in a lot of ways. So Puffy Roger and you on tape is probably good for your career, but bad for your reputation if the information comes out, because you're willing to take that shot and do the deed for the money. And so Puffy's a piece of shit to the surprise of absolutely nobody who's been paying attention since 1994. So I don't have all the facts in front of me. The list is out there. All the information out there. A lot of other shows have already talked about it. I just wanted to touch on that and say, yeah, no, Puffy, you suck. I guess it's going to be a short one this week, guys. So I guess for now, that's what I had to say. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord. Come and interact, be a part of the show. Buy the merch, support your favorite creator, or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.